Today, my wonderful American president responded to yesterday's announcement by Senator McCain that he would not support the Affordable Care Act repeal, currently under the attempt of the Senate Republicans to implement. Now, McCain was lambasted by Trump in a tweet earlier today, in which he stated, Trump that is, that Democrats were hailing McCain as a profile in courage, and the people in Arizona were deceived, and there's a 116% increase, which I don't know what he's making reference to there. Now, McCain and Trump have a very interesting history that's kind of unfolded over the last 2 years, and as a person who's seen it transpire, I've been really interested in a way that I don't think most political relationships form in that manner. So, for example, the earliest I can recall is when Trump said that McCain was a war hero because he was captured. He likes people that weren't captured. Then McCain, as part of the group of establishment Republicans, wouldn't back him and then endorsed him, but rescinded his endorsement after the Hollywood Access tape came out with the comments on there that were initially made when I was in second grade. But it is a very extensive detail between these two. But I also kind of want to underscore another important issue here. It's a sad day when the most powerful person on the planet is literally tasked with spending his weekends texting on a site that high school students typically use. And I'm not trying to say Twitter is a bad form of communication at all, but think of how effectively that could be used if we had a more competent person. Say someone that believed in giving information on a program and shortening it in a way that you can read it in a tweet. Wouldn't that be more innovative than just, oh, well, I'm going to now object to whatever this person is doing and lambast them in a message that otherwise wouldn't be the case if I didn't have this form of medium available to me? I don't recall Bush during his tenure, the younger one, back in the early 2000s, being able to just put out statements where he condemned a person unequivocally in terms that were as messed up. Because he did do that on occasion where he would say, I object to this. I am not in favor of what the Senate has done, what the House has pursued, whichever action has been available. And it's not entirely without cause to suggest that you're looking at this corrupt system with a person on top who's, for all intents and purposes, a figurehead, and that just doesn't know how to navigate it. And the healthcare thing, I'm really becoming more and more convinced as we see little fragments of that party between McCain and Paul object to the current attempts at implementation. I would not be surprised if not only do we not see it get repealed during this year, but not even during next year. I even say we could possibly go the entire first term without seeing this thing just be eradicated. And the reason for that is when you have a majority party, people oftentimes make the mistake of thinking, okay, well, that means, all of my stuff is just going to magically get passed. You're looking at special interest groups, you're looking at lobbyists. Johnson, back when he had the Democratic majority back in the mid to late 1960s, was able to formulate the types of interactions and negotiations that resulted in many of the domestic programs that we saw implemented during that time. And that was due to the fact that he had enough experience as a master legislator in both the Senate and the House to be able to go and speak with other Congress individuals that he had known before or he was just meeting. He had an ability that we saw demonstrate over the course of decades that was then put into place during his tenure, and Trump doesn't have any of that. They talk about these properties he has, and they try to equate it to Johnson. It doesn't work. It's not an accurate comparison. It's not really indicative of what we need to see from a person that we would consider to be the leader for the next however many years that he's in office, which probably is going to be 8 due to the ineffectiveness of the Democratic Party. But I've made enough mention of that. So we're likely to go another month without this. They have a week deadline that they're trying to get this pushed out. I don't see it coming, largely due to the opposition that just keeps persisting for whatever reason. Well, I strike that not for whatever reason, but um, for reasons that differ upon the person or the individual that currently is expressing opposition to it. So we're likely to continue throughout the year with more attempts. There will be some more White House meetings, presumably, and none of it's going to be effective because he doesn't have the negotiating skills. See, Johnson wouldn't have done this, gone out and rebuke a person on Twitter. It takes someone who is throwing a tantrum to do that. And, you don't have to talk about someone's mental state, but it goes with frustration, which, you have to expect that when you have this job. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where if you express sympathy, you have to remember this person chose this, they wanted this, they have it, and now they're bothered by it. I mean, we all have troubles, we all have difficulties, but this is very much a self-inflicted wound.